Conversations on Reference. This podcast is dedicated to libraries and librarianship. In this first episode, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Simon Aristeguieta. I'm originally from Venezuela, from Caracas, Venezuela. I went to school in Caracas for my high school, elementary, middle, and high school. And then I went to the University of California and got my bachelor's degree in sociology. Later on, I did a master's in information science at the University of Puerto Rico, and I got my PhD from the University of Tennessee at Knoxville. I've been involved with information science and library science since 1985. At the beginning, what I did was I was a consultant for scientists in Venezuela, and I did reference. I did reference so I could get the best scholarly sources that were available at the time. It was really a tedious process because in 1985, 86, though we had already internet, we didn't have access to the internet as we did here in the U.S. Back in Venezuela. So we have to do a reference interview to our scientists and then use what was available at the time to search for information sources, dialogue, and then we had an association with several libraries around the world and asked for the printed or for a photocopy of the printed article. So just for the scientists to get that source in full text would take maybe a month or 2 months or even 3 months. So it was a very tedious and slow process. Thankfully, things have changed. Now we are able to access information immediately. Okay, and we are able to access scientific information too. Of course, like in the past and even today, scientific and scholarly information is very expensive. So even though now countries around the world have access to the internet, to the World Wide Web, and are able to communicate, it's still very expensive to be able to access those academic databases. So that is more or less my background. Then I became an academic librarian, and finally I became a instructor and assistant professor of librarianship. My areas of interest are reference, international librarianship, scholarly communication, bibliometrics, citation analysis, information seeking behavior of different groups. Lately, I have been investigating and doing research on information seeking behavior of rural communities. I think in today's world, where we have so much access to information, one of the main functions that we have to encourage in professional librarians is being able to assess information sources and also to help the public and the community members to assess information, because there is so much information. There is misinformation, disinformation, and of course there is political propaganda. Now we have social media, now we have artificial intelligence, and so on. So I think in the future, and maybe not in the future, right now, we should concentrate our efforts in library schools on assessing information, because as we have seen, I think it has brought too much controversy to our present times. So it's not a matter of censorship. I think I'm totally against censorship, but it is a matter of providing to our patrons and to our community the best information possible out there that we know they are relevant and pertinent. So assessing information, I think, is one of the key. Well, anyway, This is just the first episode of this podcast. This is just an introduction, and once a week I will be adding more content, and we will be exploring specific aspects of libraries and librarianship. Also, we have plans to invite other guests and who are experts on their own areas, and we can expand our horizons on libraries and librarianship. In my opinion, and this is how I want to end, libraries should be the hub of every community. Libraries is a magnificent institution. I'm not talking about public libraries in specific. And it should welcome all members of the community and should be a place where we can all gather, kids, adolescents, young adults, and older adults. It's a space for recreation, for playing games, for relaxing, for playing music, for playing videos, for watching TV, and of course for reading too. So I think we will be talking about how to open our doors of our physical space to the community. But not only that, how do we do outreach to that community? How we take the library to the community? I think that's another important aspect of today's librarianship. All right. Thank you so much. This was an introduction, and I'll see you next week.